having anxiety doesn't make you weak. And that includes you too. So stick around and I'll fucking prove it. I use myself as an example a lot to show these things, but it's not just about me. I'm just the example I know the best. You've seen through a lot of my videos, including the last one where I was told that I should leave that therapeutic coaching program because they were concerned about how much anxiety I have and how much pressure I'm putting on myself. But first and foremost, I'm not giving up. I never said I was going to, but I'm going to keep doing the best I can. It's a matter of finding, relieving the pressure I put on myself about time and how quickly I get there. That's really what the problem. But the anxiety itself doesn't make you weak, because a lot of times I've felt when I've had anxiety about things and then I'm indecisive about it and trying to figure things out, even if I put myself into the anxiety-inducing situation and I faced it, I would still feel like, well, I'm weak because I had the anxiety, so I had to fight with this, so that means that I'm weak. So even when I literally would face it and overcome it, I still felt that, well, that's not good enough. The fact, yeah, I overcame it, but I took a lot of effort to do it, so therefore it proves that I'm weak. But think about that there. It's the opposite, because you're putting yourself into a situation where you have the anxiety and you're afraid, but you go and do it anyway. It's difficult, it takes more effort, but that's the opposite of weak. You showed your strength by going through it. And yet, there are going to be times where sometimes the anxiety wins. But that's wiring that was put into us while growing up, inadvertently a lot of times. Stuff that our minds did ourselves trying to just survive, and it just doesn't do us a lot of good as adults. And it's not even understanding why a lot of times. But it's just part of what became our wiring. And when you keep facing it though, it's the absolute opposite. But we always sit there and we think, no, this proves that I'm not good enough. This proves that I'm weak because I have to put all this effort. But that effort takes strength. And yeah, well, I know that I have to go through my own anxieties because I have an anxiety disorder. But getting through these things in order to get to a point where my body eventually becomes more comfortable. Like I can speak up on the Toastmasters stage now, and my entire family hates being up in front of things. I used to be terrified of this kind of stuff, but a lot of it thanks to these videos, because I didn't used to like doing videos either. I never planned to do this, but while it was anxiety inducing the first quite a number of times, I've gotten used to it. And now I got to start actually, beside the point, details. I pushed myself to study abroad in Russia way back in my early 30s. Something like, yeah. And moving here up into this area away from home, where I never even used to even want to visit a city, putting myself into, it's been a long time, but dating situations where that was always anxiety inducing, which, to be fair, is for everybody. Mostly everybody. I'm sure there's exceptions. But, sharing everything that I share, sometimes the anxiety is even there while I'm making videos. There's been depression too. But all of these things, and I'm still taking efforts to push through it. The anxiety that I had with my job for 15 years, always feeling like, I'm just a fraud. It's only a matter of time before they see I'm not as good as they think I am. But I was just like, that's just me being me. I just got to do my job. So all these things that we do when we have anxiety, and then we say, well, we got to do this anyway, and we do it, and we're afraid. But then we think, well, because we had the anxiety, that means that we're weak. That means that, oh, well, it's not good enough because I had to put so much effort just to do it. But that effort is strength. And I'm positive that you've also had a lot of times where you've done that and you haven't given yourself credit for it. So think about all those times where you're like, well, no, I have done these things with anxiety. And even if the anxiety won, if you put yourself into a situation knowing that it might win, that takes strength. And yeah, just the presence of anxiety itself isn't a sign of weakness. It's just something that, okay, it's the way you're wired, so you might need some effort more on this thing. But there's plenty of other things you probably don't need to effort on, but someone else might need to. Like maybe you could dance, or maybe you can sing, or maybe you can do art. Maybe you can engineer things, program, electrical engineering. Maybe you're a lawyer. Sorry. Shut up, Ken. But there's plenty of skills that you probably have that they aren't anxiety inducing, where someone else might not want to do that. Look at all the places where you've had the anxiety and where you have faced it anyway, and recognize that no, that's strength. One more example. The improv. I mean, there's been 2 classes where I had a full anxiety breakdown. And I went and stood off to the side one time. The other time I actually left, I came back. And other times I just had anxiety there, but not a full breakdown. And the people who were there with me, they've told me repeatedly, they're like, you give yourself credit, Ken. It's like, yeah, you have a hard time, but when you do come up with things, they're freaking funny. They're one-off, and even if I'm blank, but they point out, they keep saying, and I got to listen to it more. Yeah, for us, it might be coming more smoothly, but we all have some anxiety too. But we've seen what you're going through. And that's even more impressive because you still keep coming back. Yeah, you had those 2 breakdowns, but you came back and you keep pushing anyway, even though you know that you're going to be facing this. They're like, that's more impressive than someone who this is easy for. Because look at the strengths. Like, you're not weak because of it. This is other people telling me this. So look at that for yourself, because it's not a fucking sign of weakness. It's just part of our wiring. It kind of stinks that we got to deal with it. Fair enough. Fair enough. I get that so freaking much. I understand. But it doesn't mean that we can't do things. It doesn't mean that we can't go through things afraid and try it anyway. It doesn't mean that, maybe we'll be indecisive and try to figure things out and it gets frustrated, but eventually you can get there and you go through. And even the times where it does win, it doesn't mean you're weak. It's like, okay, try again. It just means, you can try again another time. As long as you keep trying, then that's strength too. That's a lot of strength if you keep trying and you keep pushing, you keep never giving up on yourself. So go back, think about all the places where you've had this and where you've maybe thought to yourself, I'm not, felt like you were failing, felt like you weren't strong enough, even when you succeeded. And then look at that and go, wait a minute, that took strength to do, and give yourself some credit. Yeah, so that's all I got to say for now. Like, comment, share, check out the links in my bio for info about my coaching, and take care. See you. Bye.